I stood in bewilderment at Sophia's revelation. If I had to guess, the bottom of the arena was where the gladiators stayed until it was time to fight. As she led me inside, my hypothesis was proven correct. All of the gladiators that participated in the fights in Drytreck Arena were inside, but it wasn't just all cells and areas for them to train. Not at all, actually. To my surprise, it was like we entered another tavern. There was a giant cell door separating us from them, but inside I could see them sitting at tables talking to each other. Some were eating and enjoying beverages, some were playing a game that required rolling some stones with a cup. I paused for a moment, taking everything in, but Sophia pulled me along to our next stop. We stood just outside the room. They could see us through the bars as well, but none of them paid us any mind. Sophia began explaining who was who to me, since this would be my first day going to the games.
The girl over there with the blonde hair is Natalie, a recent addition to Drytreck Arena. She was one of the slaves sent over from Elmore. She almost instantly became a crowd favorite. She's an extraordinary martial artist, and she controls the power of the sun.
Like shooting fire and stuff?
Something like that.
My response made Sophia laugh and only piqued my interest further.
You'll see if you keep coming to the games, or maybe today. She's almost always fighting, since the crowd loves her so much. Next to her is Rydell, another slave from Elmore. We haven't seen a lot of what she can do yet, but she was trained by Natalie, so I imagine she's somewhat close to her level of fighting.
Sophia moved over a bit, looking for someone in particular, and I moved with her.
Look at those two playing that game over there.
She pointed to a large man wearing shoulder pads made of brown fur and a smaller woman beside him in similar garb, rolling some of the aforementioned stones. The woman must have lost because she was frustrated by the outcome.
That's Horace and Mev. A lot of the gladiators here fight against monsters, but they specialize in it. Whenever Drytreck Arena acquires some new big bad beastie, they're the ones that take it on.
Sophia could tell my attention shifted to a man sitting in the middle of the room. He had a large table in front of him that was covered in plates of what used to be a feast for one. He was a massive Fenin, larger than any person I had ever seen.
Hard to ignore Strawn. Ever traveled to Canoon while selling your wares?
Many times, I said. Don't remember ever seeing anyone this big.
They call him the Beast of Canoon, but he's more like a giant. Not many of those in Sabia, but I heard there might be some on Fenrir.
I shuddered at the thought. Weird to think there are just giant Fenins walking around somewhere out there. How about the person over there leaning against the wall?
Funny you would go to him right after Strawn. Strawn is obsessed with that guy, and for good reason. That's Azai, the Drytreck Arena's champion. Strawn longs to fight him in the arena.
I was impressed by Azai, but for different reasons than Strawn. Azai had this poise about him that was much different than the other gladiators. He gave off a very powerful aura, and you could tell why he was the champion just by looking at him. Do you think Strawn would be able to beat him?
Not a chance. The only one who would have a shot at taking the title from him would be Natalie, and right now, the male Fenins don't fight the females.
Funny, you would think the people running an establishment like this would do whatever it takes to bring in the biggest crowd, I said, not taking my eyes off of Azai. Sophia turned around and leaned against the bars separating us from the gladiators.
You would think that, but you also have to take into consideration the possibility of one of them killing the other. If Natalie kills Azai, they get to crown a new champion for the first time, but they lose those who come to watch Azai fight. If it's the other way around, then they lose their most promising fighter since the arena opened. It's a tricky game they play behind the scenes.
The politics and strategy that goes into running an arena like this was just as interesting to me as the fighters. I was about to bring up another topic to Sophia when a bell was rung just a few feet from where we were standing.
That bell means the fights are starting soon. There's a shortcut in here to take us up to the arena. Let's go. You shouldn't be late for your first viewing of the games.
Sophia grabbed my hand once more and led me through another tunnel connected to the room. This time when we emerged, we were outside. The sands of Drytreck Arena shined under the glistening sun, and a group of Fenins beat war drums in the center. I was overwhelmed just by the sight of the arena itself and the roars of the crowd around me. At that moment, I was in awe and had no idea then how much this day would change me.